Yeah, we got about 30.
I love it. Okay, in the next 90 days, we should be able to put a LifeVantage Academy up there.
I know, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Who drove the farthest? Where are you guys all from?
Colorado, California, Northern Oregon.
Wow. Well, I am grateful that I get to be blessed with all of you guys today. We just got done with the service. It was absolutely incredible. You know what the cool thing is? The opportunity to be able to have choices in your life to choose. I don't have to worry about going to work, but I'm sorry I couldn't be with you guys in person, but I look forward to being with you guys in person the next 30 to 45 days and doing this again, and hopefully you guys be able to have a new set of your team there. So we're just launching June of 2018. So that means we've got 6 months left in this year, right? And how many of you in this 6 months absolutely want to make LifeVantage skyrocket through that time?
Let's do it.
Okay, some of the things that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do things when other people aren't. There's a lot of other people. I know that this time is where people are out of school. They don't work as much. They take vacation. They go boating. I'm not saying you have to put your life on hold, but that's what I did. But this is the thing you also understand is I was dead broke. When I got introduced to LifeVantage, I was 26 years old. I was 30,000 negative in my bank account, and I was in desperation looking for something in life. At 26 years old, guys, I sure as heck did not want to keep living what my fathers and grandfathers did. If you look at retirement age today, most people are working part-time jobs, not because they want to, because they have to, right? So my background, I grew up on my grandparents' cattle ranch in Nevada. I grew up in Winnemucca, Nevada. Yeah, it kind of sucked. I left there. I barely graduated high school. I could have done summer school to get the last 2 credits that I needed, but they didn't want to deal with me for another summer. So they actually gave me the 2 credits. So I could actually say I officially graduated. I did not have to have all the credits that everybody else had. I guess that's just a choice of not making the right choices, right? But this is one thing that I've learned in life, is that our life is currently at where it's at because of the choices and the decisions we've made and what we believe in life, is it not?
Absolutely.
How many of you are at in life where you expected to be at this point in your life? Truly exactly where you expected, financial security, time for doing the things that you love to do every single day?
No.
Okay, if currently what we've done is that has put us in that position, do you think that maybe we can make some different choices and work ourselves into maybe getting something different out of life? Okay, all I ever wanted, I'm not a person that my lifestyle needs extravagance. I want choices. I want to be able to wake up every single day and choose to do what I want to do. I want to be able to go to the Bahamas and play volleyball with the most incredible individuals. That was awesome, okay? Yeah. So I want to be able to serve whoever I want to serve. You guys got to understand, in order to give, in order to serve at a high level, you have to be able to give a lot. And if you don't have time, then you can't give. If you don't have an income, because it takes income, it takes money to choose to serve at a higher level, whatever it may be. And one of the biggest services that I needed to be able to do was my family. I grew up I grew up very fast in the fact of responsibility. By the time I was 5 years old, I had already had 4 stepdads. I went through things that I don't wish anybody to go through, but that's just part of what made me who I am today. And I wanted to be a father that I never had. Okay, I truly desired that. I wanted to have a family that I truly had. And at a young age, I started a family by some of the decisions being wild and didn't really choose someone the same way that I'd expect my children to choose someone, but started having a family, and I started working in the underground. I started working surface gold mines, and then I went underground. And then 2 weeks into underground, 3 weeks into underground, I felt explosives go off underground, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. I want to do that. And I figured out that they made a lot of money. And for 5 years, I worked 60 days straight. And I made a very good income. But there's one thing that I didn't have is I didn't have time. 2008, the economy crashed. My life crashed. I didn't have anything. Moved from Denver, Colorado to Kansas City, Missouri, which then I got on my knees more than I ever have in my life, and I started searching for what the man upstairs truly wanted in my life. Because I was sick and tired of chaos. I didn't have good relationship with my children. I didn't have a relationship with my children's mother. I just didn't have that. And I was struggling in life to figure out how to do those things because I didn't have those examples. So, sorry if you hear kids screaming out here. I'm not beating them. I promise.
He's not beating him.
I'm not beating them. But so, as searching through life, I wanted to figure out in beginning 2009, I truly made a shift in my heart and in my mind. I was going to start thinking completely differently. I was going to figure out how people did it. Do you think people that create success have a completely different mindset?
Yes. Yes.
So how do you think you're going to get to where you want to be in life without creating that mindset and shift and behaviors? And one of the things that I want to talk about, I struggled at this business. If any of you feel like you're struggling or just special people succeed at this thing, I'm going to tell you, you're all very special. Because if I did this with the background and my mindset where I'm at, I know anybody can do this. Because this is what I love about network marketing. It does not prejudge you. Your background, your race, nothing. I am so scattered. If I could even help you try to understand how scatterbrained my brain truly is, you'll be like, wow, I'm good. Okay. I sucked at this thing. This thing was difficult for me. It took me 5.5 months to get one person to say yes. And it wasn't for a lack of talking to people. I was that annoying person that if you stood next to me, I was gonna do everything I can to tell you why you need to join LifeVantage. But this is the process of growing and learning. And what I learned through this process is how to build this business. I learned how to shift and grow. And this is one of the things. When I first got introduced to this, I was so flat out excited. I was so excited. I'm like, you're telling me that I can start a business for a little over $1,000. You're telling me that I get to choose exactly how much I make. No individual gets to tell me, and I can make, and I'm going to have mentorship from people that make $20,000 a month to over $100,000 a month. How many of you guys have ever got that true opportunity of truly having that? Willing to serve you for free. They make an income that you want to make. And this is the thing. I went home and everybody told me at the house and my own family, you're stupid. What's wrong with you? Now, this is where this is where I started shifting. Would you rather take financial advice from somebody that's actually done it and there, or somebody that just has a preconceived notion or an opinion? Someone that's broke. Because guess what? My ex-father-in-law was the only one working in the home, less than $2,500 a month. My ex-mother-in-law, who has 4 degrees, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on those degrees, is still unemployed today from 2008.
Wow.
And in 9 years, so I was the 60th person when the company looked ugly and nobody wanted anything to do with it. Good thing I couldn't read, right? They couldn't show me financial. I'd be like, I don't understand. It doesn't matter. I was able to create with my consistent effort. And I want you guys to understand, you're not going to be, your energy, your consistency is going to build the movement, energy, and momentum that builds your business, but it's not going to be you. It can't be all about you. As I share this today, this is not about me. It's not, I've been able to reach the rank of Pro9 because there was a mass majority of absolutely incredible individuals like all of you guys in the room. So it took me 5.5 months to sponsor my first person. then, and some of the things that I'm going to share with you today are things that I consistently, by the time I get done over this next hour, I hope that you guys understand on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis, what you should be doing, what I would be doing. Even if there is success coming or not, with those consistent behaviors, has built a business that almost has 70,000 people in 14 countries. Our business has done over $1 million. It's been about 40,000 away from Master Pro 10. I have never built network marketing before in my life. I had no experience in it, and I was on a slow road to no success. I really was. But my consistent effort and behaviors and principles don't change. Tactics do, okay? Gathering people, it doesn't matter how you gather. Me personally, I believe one thing in business will never change. It's not old school, it's not new school, it is just fact that you cannot take the personal relationship out of business. How much more do you respect or believe somebody that would come over to your house and sit in your living room where you make the biggest decisions of your life to talk to you about an opportunity you guys could do together? Now, I'm not saying you have to do everyone like that because people live all around the US, all around the world. What I'm saying, there are tools and technologies today. Zoom, look, I had a funeral today. There was no way that I was missing this funeral, and the opportunity to still look at you guys in the eyes, the opportunity of still standing in front of you, not the way I initially wanted to, but me being in person is very important to me. But the opportunity to still look at you guys and share this message and story and behaviors is powerful to me. This is a powerful tool, right? It speeds up our process, but don't take you out of the equation of helping people build that trust. Invest into yourself and invest into others. So as I was going through this process, so I got laid off 2008, right? The day after I got laid off, the company that laid me off, the small company, contract company that I worked for in the gold mines, decided that they would challenge my unemployment so they didn't have to pay for it. So I went through a court battle there. I moved into a very negative home. There was 19 people. I decided to join network marketing, and they were like, what the heck's wrong with you? You're not allowed to live here if you're going to do one of those stupid scam things. And that was my journey. That was the battle. You're always going to have that battle. But are you going to allow people to choose your life, or are you going to stand up and choose what you truly believe in? I knew without a doubt that this was led to me. And if I were to look back, it wasn't just business, because as I started in this business, we pre-launched the company. So I signed on a piece of notebook paper. My ID number came in as they opened the back office, 60. Okay, that's my ID number. But the company was losing $1 million. The product was on the shelves being sold at GNC still. So we're starting this network marketing company in the whole, and I'm following these guys that were making an average of 50 to 80 grand a month for the last 5 to 8 years. So if they had done that before, do you think there was an opportunity that they could teach me how to do it? I had no doubt. You tell me where you can make that kind of income off of $1,000 investment, and all it takes is your effort. It's not my effort. It's not just my effort, but it starts with my effort. So the first principle that you have to get down, and it starts with you. And this is where it started with me. This is the very first thing that I understood. 15 presentations a month. That's the minimum. Now, I'm going to tell you, when you actually get a calendar, okay, everybody has a smart gadget or something that they could calendar on. It's awesome to have one of those. I'm going to tell you personally what I've learned from people. And guys, if they've made millions of dollars and they continue to do the same thing, it's because what they learn and what they do truly works. What I've learned from wealthy people, they keep a paper calendar as well. There's a reason why. So they can review their efforts and see if they followed through with the behaviors. That's what I love. I could literally, okay, if you guys could share, please. Sorry, children. Share back and forth. Okay, if I could share with you guys that keeping a paper calendar, and I have 9 years of paper calendars, I could literally review my entire efforts, and I can show you as my business sped up, as it slowed down a little bit, and you could look at my behaviors in that fact. Your business is always 90 days behind from what you do right now. So if you start these behaviors 90 days from now, you're going to start seeing some movement. So think of what's going to happen 6 months from now. You're going to be like, holy crap, but it's off the efforts of what you're doing right now. So the minimum is 15 presentations a month. If you look at your calendar and you look at some things that you can eliminate from life for a temporary period so you can do a lot more of it because you love to do it, then you can look at your calendar and say, okay, I can literally make phone calls Wednesday and Thursday and set up Tuesday and Friday or Saturdays. I can set up 4 or 5 presentations each week. Hey, look, I got a new business project idea I want you to look at. Might not even be for you, but maybe we can make some money or do business together and gain an quality of life. Whatever you may say, there's no exact invite except the one that you're caring about the person you're inviting. I'm looking at that person. What do they need out of life? It's not just about health. I am very irresponsible if I just share the product. I'm very irresponsible if I just share the business. Because what do I know in life? What you need, what you truly been praying for, what you've been asking for. So that's one of the things that I want to say is don't choose for others. Hey, look, I've gotten involved in something that I love the information for what it has and allow you to choose. There's a couple different options. You might not like any of it. And that's the opportunity that someone has. So as I got started in this thing, 15 presentations a month. Principle number 1, 15 presentations a month. Okay. And what is a presentation? What is a presentation? I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to bring up a PowerPoint presentation right now. And I'm going to kind of go through some stuff that I want you guys to really get in on understanding. This is all I know about this business. This is all I've ever done. And I know it works because the consistency behaviors and the teams that we've built, we've got a lot of elites on our teams. We've got a lot of things happening. And it's not just because I started it with my behaviors and there's a lot of duplication. There's a lot of business that is happening without me. Okay, so I want to start with this. What is the system? And I know, Rich, you got all this in front of their face, right?
Yeah, turn your phone sideways. Turn your phone sideways.
Oh, hold on. Oh.
Yeah, but they have it. They have it. I printed them off. So that's the system page.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what it's trying to do.
That's all right. Just turn your phone sideways, buddy.
I am trying to turn it sideways, and it just like won't rotate for me.
That's all right. That's okay. They have it in front of them anyway. So.
Okay, so I want you guys. So basically, you're telling me I'm a little crooked. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so 15 or more presentations a month. And in a presentation, I want you guys to understand something. This is a presentation. Your story. What is your story? See, this is the thing. When they first told me it was my story, I thought that was the stupidest thing in the world, honestly. It's like, my story, I don't tell stories. People who tell stories tell lies. Okay, I grew up on a cattle ranch. I grew up square. I grew up, your word is your bond. You don't say anything unless you have to say something. So in telling your story, you're talking about your background. Okay, I grew up hard work ethic. I love the work ethic that I learned from my grandparents, my parents. I know how to go to work. I know if I want something done, I got to go get it done. I can't expect somebody to go get it done. But that's the thing. I don't want to be in my 60s or 70s still working that hard. I don't mind working that hard. I would love to build something that builds an asset. We all want an asset in life. Okay, so what I found is what they were telling us through school, what I always felt was a lie. Go to work for somebody else, get a good job. It's bull crap. Go do what you love to do. Don't work for anybody because you have to. Don't just go, and just so you understand, you create a contract with a company every time you get a paycheck, whether it's salary or whatnot. When you get involved in LifeVantage, you create a contract. Hey, look, there's 6 different bonuses. You get to choose how much you make, and you get to choose. When you create a contract, they usually choose your salary. They choose how much they're going to pay. So this is the thing. At 26, I was tired of that. I had a feeling in my heart and soul, to every fiber of my being, that wasn't going to work for me. So I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it wasn't going to work for me. You don't have to do that forever. You don't have to build LifeVantage to take away from your job either. You can do it part-time to where it can build some extra income and pays a house payment, whatever you want for it. So tell people what you don't like about the current situation. And I tell you guys, I didn't like the fact that I was controlled. My time was controlled. I found a solution, but I first had to lose everything. And I was excited about it because there was such a small risk, such a small cost. And the true mentorship that you got, they had already done it. Okay? Company story. Your upline, someone in your upline knows the company story, but being publicly traded, we're transparent. I love to say, you don't have to believe a word I say. Being transparent, you can believe that. ABC investigative report. This is the thing. I still use it. Me personally, yes, I know there's a lot of controversy. Some people, this is the thing. I'm not promoting the people that are in the ABC. ABC is an investigative company that tears apart companies. They took a blood test on national TV to see if a guy created a product that could truly do something that everybody has in this world. This is where my brain went at 26. Oxidative stress, it's attached to every disease. It's attached to the aging process. Okay, so if it can reduce his by 45% in 2 weeks, that's a 45% reduction of chances of getting a disease. Who's going to want that? Or malfunction in your body? Who's going to want that? Well, everybody. Okay, I just got to find some people that are naive like me and will believe it. The thing is it truly works. The proof came out. Now we get to like expand our message into the nutrigenomics and the biohacking arena. Then we get to share with people how we actually get paid. Okay, so that's the 15. We do those 15 times a month. If we want to grow faster, we'll do more. Attending all events. I want to express the mindset of what it takes. I've never missed an event, and I'm going to tell you, I can't truly, honestly, as I go back through, I don't know how I attended all of them. I was dead broke. I didn't have a job. I never got another job. I didn't borrow money. For some way, somehow, I figured out how to get to the events. I figured it out. I've never missed an event. I've never even questioned an event. I've always signed up for the next one and made things happen. So, LifeVantage Academy, you guys are starting to create one there where you're at. Pretty awesome. Elite Academy, Anaheim, California, July, global convention. Okay. Global convention. The pro audios. And then LifeVantageAcademy.com. Attending all events, treat as priority. So it's kind of like a non-negotiable thing. Always stay in control of your business. I want you guys to understand we're not in control of people, but staying in control of your business. And this is where I want to lead into kind of my story. So 3 months into this thing, we launched the company. Everybody around me in Kansas City, so I didn't know anybody in Kansas City, Missouri, but I was going to make this thing work. But I did everything that they said that they'd already tried that didn't work. So I put up flyers, I put up ads, Craigslist ads, I put in newspaper ads, and guess how many came? I'd still continue to teach it, obviously, if it would work, right? So I've done all that, okay? Now, I did attend a church there, and I started talking to people. There was one day after church, I started talking to a guy. He just got laid off. He was a tile worker. And I said, when's a good day? His wife had to go back to work, working a night shift at a box making company because he got laid off. And I said, what's her day off? And he said, Wednesday. I said, okay, I'll be over Wednesday. We started a business here in Kansas City area. There's some very successful people coming out to help us. You need to get in and jump in with us. This is a chance to where if you didn't have to go back working tile, would you? And he was like, okay, sounds good. Well, there was another guy in the room that was signed up cross-line for me that was that seen me talking to him that went over on Tuesday and enrolled him. And then when I showed up on Wednesday, he's like, oh, the guy told him, hey, yeah, Clinton's in, we're working together. Well, I'm like, yeah, you're working underneath him. So it's still, now that business does $350,000, $400,000 in volume. Okay. Now it didn't stop me. Did it upset me? Yeah. Did it upset me that someone that calls a friend that can do that? Yeah. Oh, well. So sorry, I've got baby wipes all over the lawn. Kids are pulling out baby wipes everywhere. Yeah.
You can't see them though.
Yeah, I know. I'm that guy standing in the church park, baby wipes everywhere, kids running everywhere. We're good. But this is what I love. LifeVantage, this business can be anywhere, integrated into your family. There's nothing perfect, but guess what? It gives us a different life. So I'm struggling. Everybody launches as Pro 4s and 5s and 6s around me. It was bull crap. I was a Pro 0. And everybody in the household, are you done being stupid yet? See, these things don't work for you. And I'm like, no, I'm going to keep doing it. There's a 17-year-old that started hanging out. He was trying to get away from family drugs. His brother kept giving him crap. And we had two corporate executives and two of the Master Pro 10s come out for a big meeting before we were going to have an event in Anaheim, California. His brother makes a comment to him, say, why don't you just come and check it out for yourself? My first guest comes to a meeting, a big meeting. First guest comes to a meeting. I didn't realize that the guy come drunk and high and he would start a fight. That was my first guess, okay? That was my first guess. I then proceeded the next day, got a phone call and got kicked out of all the meetings in Kansas City. I was no longer welcome. I was unprofessional. I brought people they didn't want around other people. Okay, these are the struggles. This is what I went through. I should have been like, oh crap, I'm done. I quit. Okay, and at that event, I'm like, okay, we just got involved. We just signed up. I just spent all the money I had to get involved. How am I supposed to get out to Anaheim, California from Kansas City? Not like I can drive out there. Okay, I already had my vehicles from the tow truck driver, so they didn't get repossessed. I had my cars for over a year and then paid them off after a year and a half of network marketing. I don't suggest you do that, but there was nothing that was going to stop me from getting what I wanted out of life. Okay, so I had a really fast bullet bike, really fast motorcycle. It was worth about 11 grand. I owned it outright. I was going to sell it last minute just to get enough to be able to pay bills. I mean, we're behind. I just hadn't wanted to sell it yet. It was something that I worked hard for. And I come home from that event and I said, put it on Craigslist for $3 grand. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, I need the money now so I can book tickets to Anaheim, California. Why? Because I'm going to this dang event because I want what they have. And before I left that meeting that night, one of the leaders looked at me and said, hey, Clint, do you want what we have? I said, I absolutely do. I desire it. I will do everything ethical and right. Just what do I have to do? Well, the only reason why to miss an event is a death in the family, your own. It's like, well, that's a butthole thing to say. I'm like, how can you get, but then I started thinking about it. I went home. I was kind of pissed off. It's like, can't you have a little, but when life is kicking you, and your bill collectors are calling you and the tow trucks, do they say, oh, I'm sorry that they laid you off. Oh, we'll just let it go for this month. Heck no. Heck no. They say, sorry, give it to us. It's ours. And that's just the way life is. So I had to kick back. So I sold that motorcycle. I got out to the event and I sat in those chairs in the back of the room for 2 days, just realizing I could do this. You could do this. There's nothing different between the people up on stage and you. There's nothing. They just figured out them. I'm going to tell you the hardest part about this thing is looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, what do you need to change? What do you need to make better? How do I need to change? What do I need to get better at? You know what really was hard for me? Was having those conversations. I lived in a negative home that hated network marketing. Okay, then go in. You know where the bathroom is. Go in the doors. Walk together. Hold hands. Trusting a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old. Okay, so I knew that I was going to do this, and I sat in those chairs, and I realized that those individuals personally grew and changed. That was the hardest part of this entire thing. I had to look at myself and say, you got to get better. You got to make better decisions. You got to, and the hardest part was me actually conveying a message. I had to stop being an irritating network marketer and start being a person that actually cared about others. Start being a person that was more concerned and learned how to control and have a good conversation without the expectation that someone's gonna talk to me about my business, without the expectation every person I sat down with that they needed to do this, even though I believed they did. I had to learn how to become a leader of myself first. I suck. You have to, what?
Let's see your face, because we have the paper. We'd rather look at your mouth and see the baby. We want to see the baby wipes.
Oh, I'm walking away from him now.
Okay. But yeah,
okay.
We want to see your face.
Okay. So I wanted this thing to work, and I sat in that event and I realized there's nothing impossible, not just for me, but any person I'm going to talk to and that's where I started to get to have a real conversation. Hey, does network marketing work? It absolutely does. Who does it work for? Those who are willing to follow a system to actually to personally grow and actually do what it takes. Not I'm a person does things short term, long. You literally have to stay consistent long term. How does it work? What is those behaviors and principles? What do you need help with? Those behaviors and principles that Marcel was consistently talking to me about were true and real, and that I needed to follow them, and I needed to get better at them. I needed to get better at inviting. And there's a skill sheet that I know that Rich printed out for you guys, and it's the 5 skills. You literally have to grow and learn. It's like a university of personal growth. It's a university of you, learning how to do you. Okay? You're gonna play in there? So with attending of that event, after that event happened, what happened was internally, not just the decision that I made, did it become so ground into me, but it just become full force that I truly believed that I was going to do whatever it took to succeed at this. And so I went home and, got back to Kansas City, and it was Tuesday. We were having dinner, and my phone rang. I've been out of work for 8 months now. I just finally started getting unemployment, and I'm 5 months into this thing, and I'm a pro 0. Okay, 5 months in, I'm a pro 0. I've talked to a couple hundred people I didn't know, and over 70, 80 people that I did know. And I'm sitting there, and the guy that I used to work for that owned the company that laid me off called me up and said, hey, I really apologize for how things have went down. We've gotten some new contracts. We'd like to bring you back to work. And before he could finish anything, I knew what he was. I said, I want nothing to do with you. I'd said a bunch of things I'm not going to say. And I was really like, because think of that. The phone starts ringing and you look at it and it's those people. What are the emotions you start going through that somebody you feel that has wronged you or your family? You get kind of irritated, right?
Yeah.
those emotions come back up. And I was like, you sucker, you have the nerve and the energy to call me and then ask. And I just turned down a $300,000 job. And this is the last thing I said. I have a multi-million-dollar business run. Don't ever call me again. Click. I'm a pro zero. I haven't even enrolled a customer, someone that wants to take the product. I really sucked. It really was not good. You can really suck. You can really not be good. But each day you can start fresh and new. You have it in you. You have the capabilities. I had to learn how to present, and nobody's ever done a presentation for me on my personals. Nobody. But this is the thing. There was a lot of anxiety after that phone call. A lot of anxiety. The house was quiet. We were out, everybody's eating dinner, and it was loud in there. 18 people, 19 people now. It was quiet after that, and everybody's staring at me because I was like, I probably said some things. I said some things that I shouldn't have said. But not only that, I turned down a $300,000 a year job. Instantly. I turned down income. And I said I had a business to run that none of them even cared for, liked, wanted nothing to do with. I was that stupid person in the room. Okay, you can go through all these obstacles and still be right. You're not wrong. LifeVantage is real. And it is everything in your destiny to actually have this opportunity. Are you willing to go through what you have to go through to get what you want out of there? You came here for a purpose and a reason. You're going to feel uncomfortable. You know how many times I did presentation after presentation sitting with somebody and I sat there and shook and I forgot and I didn't remember anything. What I really started learning how to do is share my heart. I started learning how to feel people's hearts and figure out, what are you missing out of life? I was missing time and income. How many of you feel that same? You're worth a lot more and you're missing time and income. You're not doing the things that you deserve to do. You're not spending it with the people you deserve. How much deeper of relationships would you have with family, with loved ones, with people that you're meeting if you actually had more time to do the things that mattered most? And that's what I really started learning and people were looking for. And as I felt that anxiety after that phone call, I walked outside and I was pacing and I got this thought, call Marcel Niederhauser. And this is the thing, guys, I met Marcel 2 weeks after I got introduced to this. And who he has been and become in my life is not only an incredible friend, but a mentor that literally has followed through with everything he said he was going to do and has never faltered. Everything he's told me that if I followed through with has completely come true. I mean, I'm 35 years old and there's not a day that I wake up that I just don't get to choose what I want to do. I literally do not have something dictating my life. And if something were to happen to me, my business is growing pretty big, 600 to 1,000 people a month, whether I do it or not. Recently, over the last 10 months, I went through, and it wasn't really nice. I mean, it's civil, but I went through, this is where my life started changing. I went through a divorce. It was one of the hardest things because I'm not a quitter. I'm not a person that can give up. But I realized after 15 years, there's only so much that you can expect someone that says they're going to change. I don't listen to what people say anymore. I've learned that you have to watch their actions, and if their actions will never follow through, they're just literally giving you lip service. That's it. That's all it is. Are you a person of your word? Do you really truly follow through? Are you willing to grow and learn? And I needed to create a better home for my kids, so I had to make a choice. It's been one of the hardest things that I ever expected to go through. It was way harder than what I did to go in the beginning of this thing. But the reason why I started off in this life and the children that I have, they were the most important thing to me in my life in protecting. And I needed to make that decision if I wanted to grow as a person more, to even be able to make those hardest of hard decisions, even when things aren't going right, and make it successful for my children. So that's some of the things that I've been going through. And that's where, as I went through this challenge, I called Marcel And I never have complained about my situation to him. He didn't know that I didn't really had no income. He didn't know. So I called him. He didn't answer. So I pushed redial. And I pushed redial probably over 60, 70 times until he answered. I needed some information. And this is the thing, my personality, when I make a decision about something, it's like, I need something from, you ever feel that? You're like, I don't want to wait till tomorrow to talk to him. I need to talk to him like right now. Like right now is the most important time. So I called him over and over and over and over, and I got on the phone and I said, I need some advice right now. And I go, I've talked to a couple hundred people I don't know. I've talked to over, 80 people that I personally know. Nobody just doesn't want anything to do with it. They want nothing to do with me or it. They think it's stupid. How are you guys getting anybody involved? Because when I first met Marcel, they opened up the back office, and I don't remember a whole lot of things, but I watched him key in his password, and guess what? I memorized it. And I got into his back office for the first 2.5 months. Until he found out. And it was a good thing. It wasn't like I was trying to steal anything. I just really wanted to see if this thing was like real, if they really signed some people up. And all these leaders that you see as 8s, 9s, and 10s, I seen them when they were just green dots. Now they have hundreds of thousands of people in their business. And it was amazing to watch that. But him and Tyler finally figured out that I was getting into their back office. They changed the password on it. Yeah. They haven't given it to me since, dang it. So, and I go, they want nothing to do with it. He goes, well, what are you saying? What are you doing? I said, well, I'm putting them on 3-way phone calls. He goes, when have I told you to do that? I said, well, what would you do? And he goes, what I've always told you to do. I would get in front of them and share your passion and excitement for this business and do it. I said, great. I have nothing to go off of. How do you expect me to do that? I'm dead broke. I live in Kansas City, Missouri. I know nobody out here. Everybody I know lives from Colorado to California to Utah to Nevada. How do you expect me to get in front of those people? And this is a true leader and mentor. He actually told me what I needed to hear. Did he make the decisions that put me in that position where I'm at? He didn't, right? So instead of owning my problem, which I've never really whined to him, he goes, I didn't make the decisions that put you in that position. You asked me how I'd build my business, and I told you. You need to get in front of people. And a lot of people, if you think about it, I'm 5 months into this thing, talk to a lot of people. Nobody wants anything to do with it. I have zero money. How am I supposed to get out there? How am I supposed to come out to the places? Well, when you want something bad enough, you're never going to let anything stop you no matter what it is. Correct? I wanted this thing, guys. It made I couldn't, do any of you guys have that brain that, literally all you could do is think about LifeVantage all night long while you're trying to sleep? It literally keeps you up nonstop. And you're wondering where the heck everybody's going to come from. Just know that your entire organization, your business is scattered out there, and you're just supposed to organize it. And I'm serious about that because I've watched it over and over and over again. It's okay. I'll get him. So I listened to him, and we had a good conversation over the next hour. And after we were done, I hung up the phone. I didn't go back inside. I waited till everybody went to bed. Then the next day I woke up and I had this thought. Hey, Uncle Dewey used to drive truck. He doesn't drive truck anymore, but I bet he has contacts on the road. I called Uncle Dewey and I said, Dewey, I need a favor. I don't have any money, but I need a ride from Kansas City, Missouri to Provo, Utah. There's somebody I can stay with there. Uncle Dewey said, hey, give me a little bit and I'll give you a call back later this evening. He called me back later that evening. He says, Clinton, good news, bad news. I have a ride for you to Lincoln, Nebraska. From Lincoln to Provo, you're going to have to find your own way. Lincoln is halfway. It's a 20-hour trip. Lincoln is a 10-hour drive from Kansas City, Missouri. There's 2 truck stops. There's 3 now, but there was 2 truck stops in Lincoln, Nebraska. I showed up in Lincoln and I knocked windows for the next day. This took me, guys, I was 6 years in this business before I ever shared this with anybody because I was embarrassed of it. This is not who this is part of the journey that I don't want people to feel like. It's not like you had to go, you're going to have to go through this. You're not going to have to hitchhike. You're not going to go through this. But my extreme personality, I guess if I could say it that way, just does things the hard way. I have to learn everything the hard way. I have to make all the mistakes and all the decisions, and that's kind of some of the things that I went through. So I made it to Lincoln. And this is the funny thing. From that trip, that 9-hour, 10-hour trip in that truck with that truck driver, he still has yet to answer my phone call from that day. From that. Has anybody ever heard of verbal vomit or like annoyed the crap out of somebody? It's like, I thought we had a great conversation. I thought it was incredible. From Lincoln, Nebraska to Provo, Utah. Yeah, he's never answered my call ever again either. And there's a reason why. That's how horrible I was. And this is the thing. People say you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Yeah, you really can't, but you can say too much. That someone doesn't want to talk to you again, right? Learn how to develop and build relationships. I'm telling you guys, you can build credibility and trust in 2 to 5 minutes. You really can if you learn how to truly have conversation with people. I'm not kidding you. It's incredible when you really turn your heart towards others and actually start learning that. That's where things started changing for me. I started learning, looking at myself and just going, what do I need to learn? So I got to Utah, went to one of the first people I talked to, sat down in their home, and guess what? Within 20 minutes, I had their credit card. They were telling me that, oh no, we're not going to do network marketing, but we're going to sign up because all that product comes in there, and we want product. The funny thing is the next week, someone was sitting in she owns a hair salon. Somebody was sitting in her salon chair talking about how her doctor was saying she needs to take this medication, and she thought, wow, I played that ABC primetime video, so she pushed play for it. And the lady goes, well, can I make money with it? After she watched the video, and Riley goes, I don't know. I'm not involved. I guess I am involved, but I don't know. And she called me up frantic, and she goes, I just played this ABC primetime video for this lady, and she's asking if she can make money. I said, put me on the phone. And it was a guy by the name of Sherry Miller. And Sherry Miller, I said, hey, Sherry, I'm in Provo, Utah. You're in Brigham City. Will you give me about 2 hours? It's about 2.5 hours up there. I said, will you give me the next 2 to 3 hours to get up there? And can I have your address and I'll come see you? I sat in front of Sherry. And that day, she got so excited, like in that hour of, hey, Emerson, stay outside, please. She got so excited that she's like, I got 2 ladies. They'll sign up with me right now. I said, well, you have to be committed first. Let's enroll you, and let's go talk to these 2 ladies. Well, we went and talked to these 2 ladies, and 5.5 months into I had 3 people join my business in one day. And I'm going to tell you guys, my presentation sucked. It was horrible. I was shaking in front of them. They asked me questions. I'm like, I don't know, but I'm sure we can find out. I don't know. I didn't know the information. I didn't know any of it. At night, just so you guys understand what I used to do at night, is I used to sit down with a piece of paper and I'd write out my story. And I'd read it and I'm like, that's stupid. And then I would go through each bonus in the compensation plan. Here's how we make money. Here's what oxidative stress is. I would go through that on a computer. I went through so many stacks of computer paper. I'm sure I need to replace everybody's. Hey, put that back in there. My kids are trying to take the toys out of the nursery room outside. They want to play outside with the toys. So,
we got 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
I know, 5 minutes. To keep talking.
Well, that's awesome. Okay, so as I got through this process, what I learned in staying in control of my business. Now, who did the presentation for Riley? I did. Who did the presentation for Sherry or with Sherry? I did. Who did the presentation with Diane and Brenda? I did. Diane was part of the NFL club. No friends left. She's been a part of every network marketing company sat in front of her. None of them ever worked for her. So she's like, Clinton, nothing's ever going to happen here. For 3 months, I worked with her. I helped her get to Pro 5 before I got to Pro 5. She never even done a presentation. She still hasn't today. She makes an average of $6,000 a month. But she kept talking about her son has this incredible friend that blow up this business. He'd be the biggest thing. Well, let's talk to him. Oh, we can't talk to him. I promised my son that we wouldn't talk to anybody he knows. And finally, I got enough courage after a Life Vantage Academy to say, just call your son. I'm going to talk to him. I had no clue what I was going to say. I was terrified. I'm like, I don't know what. So she called Corey on the phone. I said, Corey, obviously I don't sound like your mother, but I want to know how you're taking care of 10 kids in this economy. That was the only thing I knew what to say. He had 10 kids. He was trying to go back to college in this economy with 10 kids. He goes, well, trying to figure it out. I said, look, I'm working with your mom on this. I don't want nothing to do with the business. I said, well, your mom wants to talk to so-and-so. He wouldn't want nothing to do with it. Please don't ruin my friends. And I said, why are you choosing for him? What if he's praying for this? Your mom keeps thinking of him. Okay, tell you what, if he decides to enroll you, just enroll me first and let him, and then I'll enroll him. But I still don't want anything to do with business. I'm like, okay. So we set up Labor Day, we set up a barbecue. And I was about 2, 3, 4 hours late because it was raining and I was riding a motorcycle. Marcel tries to tell a story that I stole a motorcycle, but I didn't steal a motorcycle, I promise. I borrowed it out of someone's garage. Because I gave it back. Stealing is you keep it forever. I gave it back. And what happened was I got up there and Tony Krashwitz was sitting in the living room. And guys, I went through a presentation. The next day we went to call Tony, or I went to call Tony, and Diane's like, no, he'll call us. So I called Tony, and this is staying in control. When I sit down with someone, whether it's my personal or somebody else's personal, where's he at? Is he, okay, he can stay there. So at that point, I met Tony Krashwitz, and I called him the next morning. I followed up with him. Tony, I'd love to do business with you. It was awesome meeting you and your wife. What's the next step for you? Well, Clinton, we want to get enrolled. Okay, will you give me a few hours? I have to chase down Corey. I promised him he can enroll you. So we have to enroll him first. Corey has made no less than $4,500 a month for the last 5 years. Has never done anything, guys. Okay. He enrolled Tony Krashwitz. Anybody know Big TK? Now you can say I got involved in this business. I'm 8 months into this business now. I'm 8 months into this business, and I'm on the verge of this business is happening. It's working. I'm starting to actually. It doesn't feel like I'm making money because guess where all my money's going? Right back into the business. Guess what my bills are doing? They're still getting like collection calls and everything else because I've put every dime of Life Vantage back in Life Vantage, back in Life Vantage. And I got on, Tony and I about 5 months later got in a Toyota Prius, folded ourselves in it, and started traveling together. And this is where mine and Tony's relationship started to build. He instantly become one of my best friends, not just because he started building, but who he is as a man and how him and I connected. Now I'd call him about every 5 to 6 miles to make sure he was okay while he was in his truck. But Tony started, he enrolled his first person his first day. In his first week, he enrolled 7. That's bullcrap. It took me 5.5 months to enroll 1. And he enrolled 7 in his first week. I think there's a time limit there, okay? Wow. So through this process and the behaviors, guys, I learned how to build this business. And guess what? Guess what Tony knows? All that I know. You know why? Because all that I knew is how to build this business. So I coached him. I remember he was clear out in Boston, and the next Elite Academy was coming up. And I said, Tony, you will not be around in this business if you do not attend. He goes, Clinton, I have an empty semi-truck. People don't drive empty semi-trucks across the U.S. That costs a lot of money. I said, do you want this business? He said, yes. Then you better get there. And he made a decision. And guess where he ended up? And guess why he's still here? Those events are non-negotiable. Staying in control of your business, as you get in front of somebody, take their name and phone number. In my calendar, it has the days of the month. In the other and the other part of my calendar has the hours of each day.
Okay, buddy, we got to roll. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Woo, everybody loves it. Look at all those people.
Hey,
All these people.
hey, when I, in the next 45 days, how would you guys like me to come out and actually finish the rest of what I'm
How
teaching?
would you like him to come out?
Woo! Okay, this is my goal. This is my goal for you guys. I want you guys to find 2 to 3 people, brand new people that you can bring with you. Let's fill up the room, okay?
All right, sounds good, brother. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Love you, man.